Hello, folks, and welcome to the live VO shopping experience. This is, I'm doing an impromptu show right now, and I wanted to do this getting ready for the big launch tomorrow. One, I had to practice what it was that I'm doing so that I made sure that I was doing it right and all this stuff. So I'm super excited about this whole thing that's going on right now, and I'm flipping switches right now. VOs definitely have, issues in the beginning. I had those issues just with figuring out how it was that I was going to start being a voiceover artist. It is one of those things, and I believe this, unfortunately, I think a lot of people think it's a lot easier than it actually is. I know that I did. That's why I wanted to highlight 3 pieces of gear that I think are indispensable when it comes to doing voiceover. And the one that's most important, I don't even think that people understand it is the most important. Throughout this broadcast, I'm going to be throwing out some links for you so that you can see the gear. I think there's some stuff, if you hit on my shop as you're watching this, you'll see some of the gear. The gear that I really want to promote, quite honestly, is the gear that I have on Amazon. When I first started out in voiceover, I had the idea, and tell me, put in the chat or the comments or whatever, tell me if you had the same thought. I thought that I was just going to buy a microphone and I was going to start making a whole bunch of money on voices.com, Voices123, Fiverr, and this is going all the way back to like 2012, 2013, right? So it's been over a decade at this point. And that never came true. Not in the way that I initially thought it would be, but I want you to understand and firmly grasp that there are so many different ways and avenues to actually make money with all of this, as far as voiceover goes, that I don't even think people fully realize and understand that you can actually do this and make a living at it. I think it just requires us to really open up our thinking with what it is that we want to do with voiceover. I think we put ourselves in a box so many different times because everyone is telling us this is the way that you have to do it. These are the steps. This is a step-by-step approach. And some of this stuff is good. Whether we're talking about on the pay-to-play platforms like, Voices or Voices.com, Voices123, even Fiverr. A lot of great strategies that are out there. But it's confining, I think, in so many different ways. And I'm going to talk as we go into this broadcast. Excuse me. As we go into this broadcast, I'm going to share with you a lot of these different ways that voiceover has manifested itself to me as a career that can launch so many other things. And it's why I've been doing so many things as well. But one of the first things that we think about when it comes to voiceover is our microphone. We think that the microphone, quite honestly, is the most important piece of gear. The first mic that I had was a Electro Voice AT2020. What was that thing? AT2020. Then I moved to Electro Voice, the RE20, which is a much more powerful microphone. It's not a condenser microphone, but very good microphone, especially for broadcast and even for voiceover as well. But when you think about the gear that you purchase, why do we think that the microphone is the most important? Now, I remember when I got my first coveted microphone, which is the TLM 103, right? The TLM 103, I thought, and you still see it in a lot of studios, right? You still see that TLM 103 in a lot of studios. You also see a lot of the Sennheiser MKH 416. I have that one as well. Very popular microphone. Each of those microphones cost over $1,000. So the cost is prohibitive for a lot of people when they think I can't do voiceover unless I have this $1,000 mic, this $2,000 mic, $3,000 mic, and the more money I spend on the mic, the better I'm going to be at voiceover. The two don't even match up. The two do not correlate. They don't equal each other. They don't even go together. The cost of your mic does not equal you making more money. And I want you to hear me when I say that. The cost of your mic does not equal you making more money. It just means you've spent more money, but you have not figured out how to make any money yet. But one of the first things that I do want to talk about is your microphone. And I want to talk about this one right here. It is the Synco Mic D2. This microphone, and it's been reviewed on YouTube by some high-profile voiceover artists. And the reason why this shotgun microphone, and it is a condenser microphone, the reason why it has been highlighted by so many different voiceover artists is because it is literally comparable to the Sennheiser MKH416, which is a $1,000 microphone. Right. And it's one of the microphones, and I'm going to highlight this and I'm going to put it in chat right now so everyone can see this. And so I'm popping it into chat. And if you want to check this out, and there's a reason I'm putting this in here, because this microphone right now is less than, let me just double check the price on this. The microphone right now on Amazon goes for, just go back and find this here again. I did have all of this stuff set up, but somehow it's gotten all discombobulated with me here right now. So this microphone is going right now on Amazon for $159. $159 for a microphone that is going to be literally indistinguishable from a $1,000 microphone. Now, if you're wondering about what kind of microphone do I need to get, this Synco Mic D2, and I just put the link in chat as well, and there's links to this in the description for the video as well. This microphone is a shotgun mic. It is XLR, very small element on the front. Now, why is this important? This microphone, because of the design, rejects outside noise. And wherever you're pointing this element is where it's going to pick up. So if you're pointing it at your mouth, guess what it's going to pick up? It's going to pick up your voice. That's what it's going to pick up. That's what it's designed to do. It is a condenser, but the traditional condenser, like the TLM 103, has such a large element. And it's designed to pick up everything, like every nuance. So you're going to pick up a lot of background noise from that microphone, depending on your environment that you're recording in. But this one can be your saving grace. This Synco Mic D2 for only $159 on Amazon, as we're talking right now. This is the mic, and I got this mic about 3 years ago. And I even did a review of it on my YouTube channel. And I did a side-by-side comparison with my MKH416 from Sennheiser. You can't tell the freaking difference. This mic is that good. You hear a lot of hype around microphones and like, what's the best one? Which one you should use? Listen to who you want to listen to. I've not found, and I've looked, I've not found a better value in a microphone than this one. A lot of the students that I teach and have coached over the years, they've gotten this mic and they still use it. The microphone is your weapon, honestly, because it is the thing that picks up your voice. So it's the thing that we tend to pay a lot of attention to, is this or whatever you use as a microphone. You can try and go cheap, but where I'm going to go with all of this, and this is a whole setup that I'm talking about today for under $800, like literally under $800, especially if you just follow that link that I posted in chat and that I have in the description of this video. Under $800 can get you from beginner to even far beyond being a beginner. And all of this gear I still have in my studio. Put in comments or chat, especially if you're watching the replay, what is your microphone of choice and why? What microphone did you settle on? And let's have a conversation about this, because I think this is important. People always want to know why someone else is doing something, because it can help. It can help. The reason why I suggest this microphone, and I've consistently recommended this mic to beginners and even those advanced, it's simple. It just works. That's really the end all be all of it. It literally just works. And this is part of my kit. I'm going to put it in chat once again so that you can see that. You can see that inside of, my Amazon store that I have of suggested gear to use. This is one that I firmly want to make sure that you understand. The second piece of gear, I'm saving the best for last, by the way. And it's the most important piece of gear. It is literally the most important piece. And as I've said, the microphone is not the most important piece. It's an important piece, but it is not the most important. And I'll be able to fully explain. Now, also with this Synco Mic D2, before I go, it comes with a holder. It comes with the pop filter that goes over it as well, so that you can use that. All of these things comes right in the box with it. The second piece of gear that I want to talk about, which is important, is your audio interface. Now, most of you have seen audio interfaces, so you kind of know how they look and how they work. So let's just go through this. This is from Ruxy. Even in the link that I shared in the chat and in the description, this is the one that I recommend. Even though they do have a solo version, this is obviously a 2 mic version. This is USB. You've got USB connections on the back that go straight into your computer, so that you can use it. On the front of this thing, the mic inputs, they're XLR, and you can use the 1/4 inch. You can plug the 1/4 inch directly into that hole in the middle, right? It's got 48 volt phantom power. Did I say that right? Yeah, 48 volt phantom power. On this as well, for the mics, you have a headphone jack that you can use as well. Where is that thing? It's over here. The headphone jack. You've got the volume for that, right? You've got the gain knobs. When you're using this and when you plug it up, green is good. When it starts going yellow and red, it's bad. And when it gets red, it's bad. So you want to watch the gain that you are putting in on this, and you'll have light indicators on this to show you. On the back of it, how I've used this as well is you can plug in like speakers, 1/4 inch jack speakers on the back. It's even got MIDI controls as well, and your on-off button. This audio interface, and this is from Ruxy, and you can get the price from the link that I sent you in the description or even in the chat. This right now, we went over the price for the Mic D2, right? The Ruxy right now, this USB audio interface is only $89.99. Right now as I'm doing this live stream. $89.99. This is literally all you need. It's going to come with your cords to plug into your computer, as well as it's going to come with a little XLR cable so that you can plug into your mic. But I believe it's only like 6 feet. But there's cables, obviously, you can get off of Amazon as well, that you're going to be able to use. The purpose of this is so that you can get away from the USB. USB mics, even though right now they're popular, the technology in them has gotten better. But when you really want to be, quote unquote, doing it, you've got to have an audio interface, and you've got to be using XLR cables and XLR mics. This is like a standard. Now, can you get away without? Yes, you can. You can get away with a USB mic, especially when I think about some of the things that I wrote in my book, How to Build a Business with Your Voiceover Skills. It's available on Amazon right now too. There's a link of that in the description too. But there's a lot, if you want to go higher and higher in this voiceover realm, if you want to start getting the national stuff, the high profile stuff, obviously your gear is going to have to be upgraded, because your stuff is being listened to by audio engineers. It's being listened to by audio producers for high profile companies and high profile firms. So there's nothing wrong with upgrading, but it's not where you ever need to start. The place where we need to start is based on not where we want to be, but where we are and the type of clientele that we can get. And there's a lot of clientele to get without a $1,000 microphone, without a $3,000 microphone, without a $1,000 audio interface, which I have had, don't have anymore, without a whisper. Let me tell you something about a whisper room. Now, what I want you to understand about having something like a whisper room is that it is not going to come to you the way that you want it. I had a whisper room you can see in some of my old videos that I've had from my studio when I lived in Milwaukee. I had the whisper room. You saw it in the background on my videos. The thing about that, I had to further do some construction on the inside to actually make it sound right. And I had to pay and work with an audio engineer to try and figure this stuff out. So when I think about the coveted whisper room, it is not out of the box going to work. It didn't for me. I had to invest probably about another $400 to get insulation. I had to spend a day cutting insulation, putting it in there, putting fabric over it. Once I spent all that money, plus the money on the audio engineer, it sounded fine. But the whisper room was not the end all be all. We think that these things that we see online, and we covet, quite honestly, we covet a lot of these things. These things, the tools, are not going to get us where we want to be ultimately, or in the beginning. It is our savviness with business. And I can get into that. And I will be getting into that into more episodes. I'll be doing this live stream every Thursday. Tomorrow it'll be, I believe, at 10 a.m., but I might make it a little later. But it's going to be every Thursday that I'm going to be doing this so I can share with you not only gear, but so that I can also answer questions. And feel free, by the way, those of you that are watching live, feel free to put in chat and offer up questions so that I can answer them for you, because this is what it's going to be dedicated to. Showing gear, the things that we actually need to understand and know about this industry, answering your questions, and just figuring this whole thing out. Because isn't that what you're trying to do right now? Trying to figure this whole thing out. Now, before we get into the last piece of gear, and I'm pasting in chat one more time where you can go to find that gear. We're going to be heavily talking about some things in regards to your voiceover business and some of the things that you may want to consider doing. And it's why I wrote this book, How to Build a Business with Your Voiceover Skills. This is volume 2. This book, the link is in the description for that as well. It's on Amazon. It's in pre-release right now, but it's already a #1 bestseller on Amazon because I've been talking about it a lot and sharing it with a lot of folks on a lot of different platforms. But this book comes out the 1st of May. May 1st it drops, but you can click the link on Amazon and to go to that, and you can literally get it right now. I'll pop that book into chat as well if you want to take a look at that and potentially go get that for yourself. It is readily available right now, and here is that link to grab that book, How to Build a Business with Your Voiceover Skills, volume 2. There's a lot in there about not only the business of voiceover, but also some ways that you might want to think about starting this whole thing in voiceover. And even if you've been in for a while, learning to think outside of the box, because this is literally what I've done as well, to create what I've been able to create over the past decade. I do voiceover every day. Some people think I don't do voiceover. I do voiceover every day. I have 4 voiceover projects to do this week. Literally, I have 4 voiceover projects to do this week. I have voiceover projects every week. So yes, I am still in voiceover, even though you see a lot of different things. But the one thing that I talk about in this book as well, voiceover was my beginning. Just learning the skill set of being able to lay down my voice, to be able to edit that and to use plugins to enhance and richen or deepen, or all the things when it comes to compression and equalization. There's all these different types of things we have to understand. This was my start, and I credit voiceover for that. That's why it was so easy for me to write this book, How to Build a Business with Your Voiceover Skills, because it's literally what I've done over time. Now, let's get into this whole thing. The most important piece of gear. I think voiceover artists hear this, but they ignore it. And this is what happens when you ignore this piece of information. First, let me tell you what it is. Your recording environment. Your recording environment is more important than your mic. It's more important than your audio interface. Your recording environment is the thing that makes your voiceover sound good. The microphone, if you use the best microphone in the world, whatever that may be, and you're in a bad recording environment, like an open room or something like that, your voiceover is still going to sound like trash. It's going to sound like trash because you're in the wrong. It's like trying to use the wrong tool to do something. You're trying to use a screwdriver to hammer a nail into concrete. It's not going to work. When you have a decent mic and a conducive recording environment that will capture all of the nuances of your voice, that will allow your voice to be what it is without any interference, it's magic. You can have this $130, $150 microphone and have a proper recording environment and beat out anyone with $1,000 mic and up that is in a bad recording environment. The cost and the quality of the mic means nothing without the recording environment. It means absolutely nothing at all. Now, I'm going to try something here. And if you click on that link once again, and I'll try and grab it for you. But actually, I'm just going to, I want to make sure I give you the link. So let's do that. So you can have a link to all 3 pieces of this gear that I believe will set you free, literally, from a lot of the issues that you're dealing with. All right, so that's it. You can go there to grab that. All right, hey, Garvey, glad to have you in here. Garvey's asking, how do you choose the best person to create and edit your reel once all great recordings have been finished? This is such a good question. There's research, Garvey, that goes into this. But let me and I'm going to try and say this and you can tell me if I'm hitting exactly where you are or not. And maybe you can pop into chat, Garvey, and just answer this one question for me. Or 2 questions. How long have you been doing voiceover? And how much voiceover work do you do in like a month? Can you answer that question for me? Now, let's get into this question that Garvey asked. How do you choose the best person to create and edit your reel once all great recordings have been finished? There's a couple of things, and I'll go in this direction with you, because my first question is, why do you need someone to edit that? Is that because you have not learned how to do that on your own? Now, when I first started out, especially back in like 2016, 2017, I was saying to all of my students and everyone else, you need to become a quote unquote audio engineer. Otherwise, people are going to rake you over the coals, charging you money and all this other kind of stuff, when it is to me, now I'm just saying to me, it's a simple process to learn. I think that if you're going after Disney, you need a Disney level engineer to do it. But if you're going after Sam Jones, the podcaster, that just needs some commercials, you can do that. And this is how, because when you're creating, and this is like whether you're doing demo reels, who's the target for your demo reel? And I think that's a big thing here. A lot of voice actors, we don't understand who our target is because we don't have one. We say, I just want to do voiceover. Okay, fine. But do voiceover for who? Oh, I can do it for anyone. No, you can't. You have, as they say in a movie, a particular set of skills, right? There's something that you love doing. There are things in voiceover work that you love doing. Who is that audience? Right? Who is that audience? And what level? And you can say, okay, yeah, I want to go after Disney, but you're not getting Disney. Okay, you're not getting Disney. So who can you get in the next 3 months? Who can you get to hire you in the next 3 months based on your demo? And that demo better darn well be targeted at that audience. Otherwise, you're punching at the air. You're not connecting with anything. It's one of the things that I found out, and even I wrote about this in my book, How to Build a Business with Your Voiceover Skills, Volume 2. We have no plan on who we want to go after. We have no strategy. We have no understanding of that target audience because we don't have a target audience. And because we have no target audience, we're spending, 6 hours a day auditioning. Across the board. Across the board. Every genre. Everything. This is what we're doing. So when it comes down to the audio reel, and this gets me back to what I was talking about before, you have to understand that the type of voiceover that you're doing right now, at the beginning of your career, mid-career, whatever, this is the audience that you're able to attract based on the set of skills you have. Garvey, this is the other thing I wanted to say. If you get someone else other than yourself to produce your demo reel, and I want you to think about this, Garvey and everyone else, if someone else produces your demo reel and you send that out to a potential client, they're going to expect you, if they hire you, to be able to produce at that same level of the demo that you sent over to them. And if you can't produce at that same level that they like, you're not going to keep the job. You will get fired. This is why my premise was at the beginning of my voiceover career, I had to learn audio production. And it takes time, but that's okay. If you dedicate a month to it with the simplicity, and I say simplicity from a point of privilege at this point, the simplicity of producing audio, anyone can learn this. Just about. Take 30 days, cut off everything else, learn how to produce audio. Don't listen to far out people that are doing, movie trailers or whatever. I'm talking about the simplicity of, there's a couple of things: compression, equalization, and also you're going to have to learn how to duck the music under your voice. If you don't understand anything about what I said just now, you need to start YouTubing it. And I have a lot of that information on my YouTube channel as well. I found what I think, well, what I know, because I use this every day for voiceover. There are all these things that people try and use. Have you seen those things that like wrap around your microphone and they claim to make it better, and the cushioning or whatever it is, and you got these little balls you can use depending on the type of mic. You can put that and, you speak into the ball and it's supposed to, okay, I've tried all of that. It's trash. It's trash. I've tried the Whisper Room. Whisper Room is great. But here's the thing I want you to understand, because everybody wants to ask me this question. Does this booth, is it soundproof? There's no such thing as a soundproof booth. I had a Whisper Room in a studio in Milwaukee. It was behind closed doors. There was a hallway that ran beside my office. I'm inside of a Whisper Room. Great piece of engineering. This one chick that worked the front desk, and the hallway was not carpeted. It was just, tile or whatever you want to call it. This is all I heard, right? If she was walking down the hall, that was in my recording. Inside of an office, inside of a Whisper Room. So people say, there's a couple of issues here, right? Because people will say, well, I live in an apartment and my neighbors make noise and all of this stuff. And I need something that's soundproof. There is nothing that is soundproof. At least that I can even afford, or most people could afford, quite honestly. A Whisper Room, that's even $5,000, right? And it ain't soundproof. I can tell you that. Nothing is 100%. So there's alternatives. If you live in an apartment, a noisy area in maybe city, you've got traffic, things like that is bleeding into all of this, and you're trying to figure out times, there's no way around it. And so many times people, instead of getting in a proper recording environment, they will try and fix that problem with gear. And you can't fix that problem with gear, because junk in is junk out. And you're going to spend hours trying to take out something that if you never had it in there, it wouldn't be an issue. There's no plug-in. There's nothing. But if you live in a bad environment and you're trying to get better, you're going to have to select times where you can record, or understand you might be able to record a few sentences or paragraphs and you'll have to stop. I live in a very quiet neighborhood, but if my neighbor has the lawn service out cutting grass, guess what? I can't record. I cannot record. So I choose not to record on Fridays and Saturdays. That's pretty much it, because that's when the lawn guys are out. Cutting the lawns all around here, even mine, and all of that stuff. I don't use a lawn service. My son cuts our grass. Luckily, it's not springtime yet, so the grass isn't growing, but I can record anytime now. But the biggest issue is, and the biggest investment you need to make should be on your, maybe not even the biggest, but the most important investment is your recording space. Now, I'm going to show you my recording space. I'll show you a picture, and then I'll also share with you, because it's sitting right here behind me. It's literally right here. So I just need to pick, what do I want to pick? Is this it? Nope. That's not it. Screen share. There it is. All right. So this is what I use. It is called a Snap Studio. It's $499.99. It does everything my Whisper Room did. Everything. People may look at this and say, hey, well, Earl, this is just moving blankets. Well, just go get you some moving blankets then, and build a little sturdy stand and put it on there. Right? Just go do that. I'm going to pop the link to all of this again in chat to make sure that everyone has it. And we can go from there. Okay, we did get a response from Garvey. He said, I'm a graduate of theater acting and film directing, 1 year paid of doing work, but without a reel. I'm seeking the guidance membership before starting new with TV, commercial, and film, other VO. All right, so here's the thing, Garvey. If all of that you're doing, you probably have an agent as well. Talk to your agent about what they recommend, because they already understand that industry that you're trying to go into. I'm not in that world. I've been there. I've done work in that arena, but it's not where most of my work ever came from. So I started focusing on the work that I was getting. All right. So now, why is this showing up like this? I have no idea why this is showing up like this. So I'm going to, let's take this down. Oh, it may have been because I was on that other page looking at Garvey. That's what it was. I was like, why does my screen look weird and why is that on it? Yeah, here we go. All right. This is what I have. A lot of people that have followed me on my YouTube channel, they've gotten this over the past 2 years that, I got videos on it, talking about this, sharing with you the things that are there. So now what I want to do, let me show you the inside and really the stuff that it comes with. So if I have the right camera set up here, and I do. Okay, you're going to have to bear with me because I'm going to try and move my mic as well so that I can keep all of this. All right, so I'm standing in the studio here. There's my mic, right? We are literally inside of the studio. It comes with that little light, right? That little light is on there. It comes with the thing to hold my my pad. Did my light go out of here? I think it did, or the battery died, one or the other. Let me just check. No. Okay. All right, there it is. So there's the light. It's jingling now. All right, it comes with the holder to hold my mouse pad. You're going to have to come up with your own thing. Snap Studio sent me this for whatever reason to hold my mic, which I definitely appreciated. They were trying to, see what would best work for all of that. But yeah, this is it. You can put in one of those. You can literally put in one of the microphone stands that you may already have, right? That will, because it will fit into this. Because one of the other things that I have in here is my recorder. I don't record straight to my computer. I use this little recorder to capture the voice on an SD card. Then I move that over to my computer. If I bring this out, right, you can kind of see where I was. Like that's where I was sitting and everything. But this is the Snap Studio. Right. Hopefully you can see this. I can't see my computer right now. So, but that's it. Whoops. That's the Snap Studio. Now, I've been able, I'm going back to my desk now so I can get back on camera. I've been able to do a tremendous amount of work. And I use this thing every day now to record voiceover. So when I talk about, and all the pieces of gear that I've shown you with the links that I've given you already, you can see that you can literally have a studio, voiceover studio, for under $800. Popping that link in there once again. Okay, Garvey's back. He's saying, copy that, no agent for any VO. Coming into the professional world of VO as a beginner, but with the skills. Grab the book. Definitely How to Build a Business with Your Voiceover Skills. The link that I popped in, I'll go ahead and, sorry about my cough. I'll go ahead and pop that in again. But that book, and I'll grab the link for this so that you can have that as well. And I'm literally typing it in now. Oh, that's right. I already have it saved over here, so I can just grab it from here. I was trying to type it in from Amazon, but I will go ahead and grab this, copy, and come back over to YouTube and just paste that in for you so that you have a link to that book as well. So there are two major links. There's that one, How to Build a Business with Your Voiceover Skills, Volume 2. It's out for pre-release. It's on Kindle for pre-release. Go ahead and grab your copy now. It's already a bestseller on Amazon. And then the final thing, as far as all of the gear that I've talked about in this, is at this link here. I wanted to do this little impromptu in preparation for the big show tomorrow, because that's really going to be the thing. I had to see how all of these connections worked and all of that. So I want to thank everyone for joining me on this. But here are some closing thoughts. Voiceover is more than voiceover. It can be. Now, believe me, there's nothing wrong if you want to be a voice actor and that's what you want to be, and that's what you want to do all day, every day. That's great. I come from a perspective of I wanted something more challenging for me. So basically what I do, even though I do voiceover every day, I also added on a skill set of video production. So I do like book trailers for authors. I do promo videos for entrepreneurs. All of these you can see on my YouTube channel as well. Everything is on my YouTube channel, quite honestly. I do podcasting, the Earl Hall Show. I'm adding this in, but all of these things, if you really start to boil it down, this is me having the skill set to use my voice, to allow myself to be heard. Garvey saying those Amazon links are great. I'm on it. Going to grab the book as well. I give much thanks for your voice, time, energy, and education. Garvey, thank you so much. But I can tell you guys give me the energy to do this. I love being live on camera. I love answering questions. And so many times I think, especially if you have someone in front of you that is an industry expert and you can ask questions and they allow you to ask questions like I do, then you should do it. Because it's one thing to consume content, because there's a couple of levels to this here. The consumption of it, which, sure, you want to consume, but you also want to create. It's one thing voiceover artists don't do. Voiceover artists usually create content that appeals to other voiceover artists, not to the clientele they're trying to go after. Whole nother thing. But I'll be talking about that on these live streams as well every Thursday. Ralph is saying, thank you, Earl. I always appreciate your wisdom. Ralph, thank you. I appreciate your presence. I appreciate the questions. I appreciate the comments, most definitely. And I think all of that is vital and important, but we have to understand that this is more than our mic. This is more than our audio interface. This is more than our recording environment. This comes down to your ability to build a business. And this is a skill set that I think a lot of entrepreneurs don't possess. We can understand and know how to do the thing. The thing is, okay, how do I record my voice? So how do I be a voiceover artist? How do I perform? But then there's a whole other thing that comes behind this as well. How do I build a business around this? How do I build a business around the fact that I am a voiceover artist and I have something to say? I have a business to build. I have clients to go after. One of the most important things is for a voice actor is getting the client. If you can't get the client, what good is it being a voice actor? I want you to think about that. Because here's something that I know to be true. You don't have to be the best voice actor, but if you're just an amazing marketer, you're going to beat out the best voice actor in the world that does not know how to market, that does not know how to build a business. Having the skill is one thing. Knowing how to do the thing like voiceover is one thing. But what about the skill set of being a marketer and a salesperson? Because if you're an entrepreneur, that is literally what you are. And that has to be firmly understood. All right, guys. Thanks so much. I'm going to be back tomorrow. I just wanted to come on today to share a little bit of wisdom and knowledge and some gear. The full-blown show is going to be tomorrow, so I hope you'll join me. If you have not subscribed, please do subscribe. Please do like. So many of the people that watch my content, they never subscribe, but they watch. It's amazing. The numbers of people that aren't subscribed to the channel that watched way outnumber the people that subscribe. So even though we currently have over 15,000 subscribers on the channel, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel. I would love for you to comment, to share. And if this makes sense to you, I want to say this way. If this episode made sense to you, could you share it with another voice actor that you think needs it, that might benefit from some of the things that we talked about here today? It's a free way to support what I do. So I definitely would appreciate it. And it won't cost you a thing. You guys have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.